Hello, welcome to my channel. I am Brita Wallace, family and parent educator with Wallace Family Ministry, and we are on a Love Dare journey for parents. We are on day 21, which is really awesome and should be encouraging to those of you who have followed along this whole entire time. And if you're new here, then we just welcome you, and we are so glad to have you here for this teaching. Love is Fair is day 21, and we're just going to hop right into our study, okay? So, there is no partiality with God, Romans 2:11. We always start with a verse, and the first point is the very first sentence in this chapter for day 21. And it says, favoritism almost always leads to envy, anger, and jealousy. Okay, so I'm going to say that again. Favoritism almost always leads to envy, anger, and jealousy. And the last person seeing it is often the very person showing it, okay? But the child, this is what I want you to get as well, the child who's being made to feel less desirable, less capable, or less enjoyable to be around, they can sense favoritism the very moment that it happens, all right? So, our selfish human nature is what causes us to give preference to the rich over the poor, the beautiful over the plain, the strong over the weak. But this is not the nature of love, okay? This is why God made a point of telling us he does not show partiality himself in Romans 2:11, and that we too should do nothing in a spirit of partiality, 1 Timothy 5:21. And he also communicates this principle throughout Scripture through real powerful true stories. So the fact that most of these examples that he gives us in Scripture, they actually occur within the context of the family. And this warns us to especially avoid committing this troubling crime with our sons and our daughters, even by perception, okay? And he talks about this when Jacob was tricked into marrying Leah instead of Rachel. And Jacob's resulting favoritism of Rachel led to repeated rivalry and hurt feelings, okay? And then later on, Jacob's favoritism towards Rachel's firstborn son, Joseph, actually led his other sons to try to kill his little brother, to want to kill him, and then they sold him into slavery, right? So, and then it was envy that drove a paranoid King Saul into rage and murderous plotting against David, the young man favored by the people to be the king's successor. Jealousy caused Jesus' followers to argue with each other over who would be the greatest. And if anything summarized the Pharisees' hatred of Jesus, it was their envy of his power and authority as the crowds flocked to see him teach and heal people, right? So the scriptures warn, wrath is fierce and anger is a flood, but who can stand before jealousy? Proverbs 27:4. And if we are to love our children well, this is the next point that I want you to get. If we are to love our children well, we must guard against its subtle and dangerous ability to infiltrate our families in at least two major ways, all right? So, one, jealousy among siblings. You would never intentionally pit one child against the other, but their young eye picks up on everything you do, even the unattended, okay? So they can perceive the amount of time you give to one of them over the other and any inconsistencies in the way you dish out discipline. They can recognize when you show more pleasure in one over the other, and they may not come out and say it, but the marks of discouragement and fading esteem could linger behind their eyes if you're not clearly balancing your love. This obscure resentment could later result in open rebellion, okay? So the authors go on to say that yes, certain season schedules or circumstances will require you to focus more on one particular child's needs, even misbehaviors. Older children almost always get to do new things first. More assertive and responsible children are usually rewarded more readily, and submissive children are naturally less stressful and easier to be around than a strong-willed, defiant child, right? But in each situation, love drives us to work hard to shepherd each of their insecure hearts, value their strengths, and guide our words with wisdom to help us eliminate any weed of envy that wants to take root inside of them. All right, so how do we do this? Well, you must make sure every little heart hears, sees, and feels your personal love, okay? That's the next point that I want you to get, is that you must make sure that every little heart in your home hears, sees, and feels your personal love. Every child needs consistent affection, one-on-one time with each parent. Otherwise, the perception you leave will be the reality that they believe, okay? So, doesn't mean that you love them any less, or that, if that's their perception, and that means that it's true, and, like they can say, oh, well, you love my brother more than me, or you love my sister more than me, and they can really feel that way, and you can say, no, that's absolutely not true, but that's the perception that they have. That's their perception, and there has to be room for both. So when our children are feeling a certain way, we have to ask ourselves, why? What can I do to help them through this? What can I do to make sure this doesn't happen again? What am I doing or not doing that may be contributing to them feeling this way, right? So, jealousy among parents, all right? Both mom and dad possess different gifts, personalities, and roles, and God intends to use each of us differently to more fully meet our children's needs. But this tag team transaction is not always an even trade. One of you is more likely to be the fun parent. One may discipline more harshly. One seems to have easier responsibilities, and this can lead to one or both of you feeling jealous and angry at each other, all right? But we need to remember that love is patient, kind, and unselfish. It celebrates success instead of being threatened by it, okay? You must both intercept any potential envy by frequently, deliberately thanking God for the qualities in your spouse that make them such a good parent. And we should be telling them so. So when we're praying together, thank God often for the shared partnership you enjoy and working as one to help your children become complete individuals. If one child favors you, then praise their other parent and help lead your child's heart to understand and value them more. So that's the next point that I want you to get. If one child favors you, then praise their other parent and help lead your child's heart to understand and value the other parent more, okay? So, lastly, the most fertile ground where jealousy and partiality can take root is in blended families and split custody situations, all right? So you may live in this dynamic and understand that jealousy issues don't always have easy answers, but that doesn't mean these situations cannot be averted and minimalized. You must apply patience liberally. Always be complimentary, not critical of people who aren't in the room. Respond quickly in overwhelming love to any child who appears threatened. Try not to let old wounds leak into present day preferences, and don't give jealousy even one square inch to thrive in your home, okay? So that is a key point as well, that whole entire sentence. But let's just break it down. Apply patience liberally. Always be complimentary, not critical of people who are not in the room. Respond quickly in overwhelming love to any child who appears threatened. Try not to let old wounds leak into present day preferences, and do not give jealousy even one square inch to thrive in your home. Our children will always have a hard time receiving our love if they perceive it's second rate in comparison to our love for others, okay? So that's the next point that I want you to get. Our children will always have a hard time receiving our love if they perceive it's second nature in comparison to our love for others. But genuine love, often and freely expressed, can help put out the fires that envy wants to set, okay? So write that down as well. Genuine love, often and freely expressed, can help put out fires that envy wants to set, okay? So give your children the joyful heart that's found in your well-balanced love. That's the last thing I want you to write down, is give your children the joyful heart that's found in your well-balanced love, okay? Isn't that beautiful? All right, so the dare today is set up a special box or folder for each of your children and begin collecting keepsakes, photos, awards, and memories. And let them know you'll be continuing to gather new things special to them. Occasionally go through their box with them as a way of expressing how proud you are of their life and achievements. That's so encouraging that we get to do that for our kids. So a nice box would be, a folder would be nice too. So whatever you prefer. I was just thinking of a box because, like, for me, because there's things in there that won't fit in a folder, right? And if we want to just keep it going, a nice, like, decent size, like maybe a boot box or something, for me, would think that that would be perfect, where I can continue to put things in it as they grow. So that is the dare today, guys. Thank you for tuning in to my channel today. If you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you do, because I'll be giving you more teachings in the future as well, not just the Love Dare, and you'll get to see me more often. And make sure that you like and share me with your friends as well. So I love you guys. I hope you had a wonderful time learning a little bit of something and today, and that you will come back and join me again next time. All right, see you tomorrow for day 22. I love you. God bless and take care.